Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Seema. In this video, I'm going to be talking to you guys about some stuff, and we're going to get kind of deep. So sit down, relax, and let's get into it. Um, when I realized a long time ago that I was stuck and I had no way out, and there's no one coming to save me, there was no one coming to help me. Um, I remember thinking that I just had to write. So I would fill up notebooks. I have one here. I always carry like notebooks with me, but I filled up now 12 notebooks to this date, but I started with one. So I would fill up that notebook with poetry and just things that were on my heart and things that really I needed to express. And if I look back at that first notebook that I started, it was so, obviously, like, premature, and I was, like, so much younger, and, this was during my sophomore year of college, so how old was I? I was 19. I wrote about everything, and, I was heartbroken. I was, like, in a relationship that kind of was hurting me a little bit, and I didn't understand it at the time that it was, like, my lesson, and instead I was just so much in it? And so I want to let you know that if you're in a circumstance in which you feel like you can't get out, it may just be the beginning of the rest of your life. Like that's what it was for me. Um, I was kind of like around um this energy all the time. I couldn't really like understand myself or explore myself past my like immediate environment. I also didn't know that like one could just like go out and like meet new people or like make new friends. Like I was so much used to the people around me and in my comfort zone, and I wanted it to be that way. I wanted to stay that way, and I think that's fine cuz like I was young and you know I was just now looking back on it, I was like I was a kid, like really. Um but if you look through the pages, I'm like talking about depression and I'm talking about topics that um I remember how I was feeling when I was writing those things, and I really was there was like no way out. I really was in the thick of it. I was so depressed. I literally wanted to die. Um I was heartbroken from like I felt that the whole world had betrayed me. Like I was not understood by anybody, like by the person I was with at the time, my friends at the time, my parents, like, you know. I also in my life have always dealt with situations on my own. I would never ever like I'm not the person to like ever I don't like to say that I'm not the person to because we can always change that and it may not be a good thing if you're not the person to do something. We want to work on that, right? But I used to not be the person that would ask for help or assistance in any way. And instead in college I would turn to like intoxication and like partying, which is like not good. Um and so I used a lot of escapism to like cope with like what was going on with me at the time, and I didn't know it um you know in my college years, but like I was going through a lot of mental health stuff by myself, like depression, anxiety, even like ADHD and OCD and bipolar on my own. Not that I like have any of those, but all of the symptoms that I was experiencing checked out, and I never really went as far as to go to get like formal diagnoses for these because I just didn't want to know. Like I just wanted to feel better and like heal myself from it, and I didn't want to take any medication for it. I like definitely was told that I have depression, and it was like, yeah, you need to like take, um, from like doctors and stuff, but I never actually like did take medication for it. And instead I coped in like other unhealthier ways, but that eventually turned to me like diving into my mind like a lot. Like this is my personal story. This is really uncommon, but like I would go to parties in college, I remember this. I'd go to parties and I would like be in a meditative state while just being a little inebriated. I would like meditate like at these parties. And on the outside it would look like I was just like, there, whatever, like surrounded by people. But in my mind I'd be focusing on God. And I didn't necessarily know that I was meditating. I just would like try to be close to God. That's it. That's it. Like that's the extent of it. Like I would go to these parties and I would like dissociate. Um and I would like enter a state of prayer, which is insane to like think about. And what is this? I'm like, what am I doing here? Um, and yeah, that was my life. I would journal I had like spiritual experiences like at these parties. Like it was crazy. And then I would like come home and like journal about it and journal about like the synchronicities that I saw throughout the night and like different things that connected. I was like paying attention. Um, and it was easy for me to do this because like I was turned off from the outside world, so I didn't have to like perform. I think that's another reason why I turned to partying a lot during my college days when I was first in the beginning of my spiritual awakening because I didn't have to perform. Um, I've always been very performative in my interactions with people, and later on, I knew that it was called masking. And I didn't know that it was called masking. I didn't know what masking was. And then later on, I learned that, oh my God, I've been masking my pretty much entire life to everybody, friends, family, everybody. And that's why I love social media so much because when I started this YouTube channel, I realized that I could be myself. And if you look at like some previous videos on this channel, especially the newer ones, um, I think I removed a lot of them because I was like embarrassed and I was so young, um but I was masking in like a lot of them. And masking just kind of fell out of my life eventually. Like as I grew into more of my identity also, I didn't need to mask as much and it was replaced with more of an authentic expression of my identity, but it took time. Like for me, it really, really took time. Even looking back on it, like I've always just been a little bit different, and like um and I tried to not let that be obvious. Like that's why I wanted to um or that's why I was so comfortable masking, and that's why I wanted to just really like I think be as perfect for everybody as possible because I knew that I was different and I felt that I was different. And this has always been an ongoing thing ever since I was very young. Like I remember being in kindergarten and just thinking that I'm so different from everyone around me because like um I was just I just remember observing everybody all the time and like being very observant. Like I was the quiet, observant um kid. I didn't need to talk much. And then there were like other kids that were like um they were just really like they wanted to have everyone follow them and like they wanted to like sit in the big doll house that was there like in kindergarten. They wanted it to be their house and they were like basically like very outgoing and I was not. And I was like the kid that would show up to school with like henna on my hands, mehendi, if you know what that is. And and the kids around me would like make fun of me and be like, "Oh, why does she have poop on her hands?" And that was like my life. Like I've just always felt really like different. And so now as an adult and as an entrepreneur, it's a strength. But it was not a strength for a long time. I felt that it was a weakness of mine. So I had to really like mask. And it was for the sake of self-acceptance, it was for the sake of safety. And I think it's also just something that you do when you're younger. Um, but yeah, that was the beginning of my spiritual awakening. It was cataclysmed by pain and heartbreak, and I've just never really had it completely easy when it comes to being myself and being able to be myself and attracting um that understanding from others of who I am. Now it's so much easier because like it's what I do every day. But when I was a kid, I also didn't know who I was. I had a lot of uh pain around self identity. Like, I remember my first year of college, this was a year prior my spiritual awakening. My first year of college, I suffered so badly with DID, which is like depersonalization. So I don't know if I've talked about this actually, but I had no idea really like at the end of freshman year, I had no idea who I was. Like, I felt like a shell of a person. I felt so depressed, especially because I had been partying and like that, wore me down. Like, I was stripped of my ability to mask at one point. So that left me really confused because, like I said, I didn't know I was masking. So I thought that, I was just like, okay, I'm gonna be stuck like this forever. I'm gonna be stuck in this dissociative state forever, and I'm never going to be able to like be normal again or like be happy again. Like I didn't see the point of like anything in life. Like everything to me was really obsolete. I remember looking at fashion and like nail polish and stuff, things that I've always loved, um, even as a kid. And I remember thinking like, what's the point? We're all gonna die. I was really, really down bad, depressed. Um, and later that summer after my freshman year, that was the beginning of my spiritual awakening. August of 2017 is when I was told that I need to find God. And I took it seriously, because I was like, maybe I do really need to find God. And I need help. Like, I need spiritual help. There's like nothing and nobody here that can help me on this planet. There's no material thing that can help me. And like, I can't voice my pain to like anybody around me. Um, I need help, real help, you know. My soul needed help and help I got. And that was the beginning of me being able to connect to God and just really wanted to search for God. It was the beginning of my ability to connect to God and like form a relationship with God. And obviously it didn't happen overnight. It took years and years and years. And it led to just me really finding myself. First I found God, and then I found myself. And I think that's really the formula for it, because you don't actually know who you are until you strip yourself of all the things and experiences that you think shape your identity. Like, you have to have multiple ego deaths. Like, um throughout my journey, I've had multiple ego deaths and multiple transformations. So I've been through many, many transformations, and they were all very difficult and like painful. And, um, you know, each time they would happen, I would fail, or I would fall, or I would lose, um, even myself at times. There have been times where I even lost my identity, you know, just to find it again in an even stronger way. So it's been a wild ride for me, and I have much to share. And like, I had to really come to terms with the fact that I can be like a human. I know that sounds weird, but because I had so many ego deaths, like, I was not aware really of like how to present myself, you know, anymore, um, out into the world. And there were times where I was so broken, so broken. I cannot tell you, like, I thought for sure that I would not be able to come back from certain things, or, um, or, like something would take me out. Like, I thought something would take me out. Like, there was one time where I had like it's called an NDE. So this is like so so personal, but I'm just gonna spill all the tea. So I had like a near death kind of thing where where like I wasn't sure that I'd be able to be here, you know what I mean? And so but it was through prayer that God quickly took me out of that situation. And it wasn't like terrifying for me. That was actually one of the more calmer experiences for me. Like, I kind of accepted um the fact that, you know I was done. You know what I mean? Like, I kind of accepted like these things. And I think that's why they were able to um transform me because like I accepted the pain that like came with it, you know? And so I didn't resist. I didn't try to like move away from it or like numb it. And I instead went to God. And I think that's the point. I think, guys, that's the point of everything in life. Any difficult thing that happens to you, you need spiritual assistance. We need constant, like, help I can't get up assistance from God, from our Maker, because He's the one thing that is everywhere and within us at all times. And we just, like, don't see Him in the physical because our human eyes cannot comprehend His energy. So, like, we don't think that we need Him. Like, we forget our eternal relationship to him, and so we think that like we really are alone, as I did when I was going through all those painful experiences. And the more painful stuff happened in the beginning of my spiritual awakening, and then as I continued on my journey, my individual journey of like following God's instructions, and like because I had surrendered my life to God. So um and I had to do it multiple times to keep myself in check and on track. So as I continued to like walk this individual path, yes, the transformations kept happening, but like they became um like I wouldn't say easier, but I became used to them. Maybe they did become easier because I grew spiritually, right? So like I was able to know what was going on and learn my lessons faster. But in the beginning of my spiritual awakening, that was when it was the hardest. Like I said, when I was going through depersonalization, and like right before August of 2017, and like the years after that a little bit as well. And then it just became like gradually progressively easier. So if you're on rock bottom, just understand that the only way out is up, and you are going to go up. And you are going to go up with the help of God through videos like this, maybe, but you're going to go up, and God is going to send you people and situations and um, ways in which you can find Him and be with Him and receive His help. You know, we are meant to not just survive here, but thrive. And a lot of us don't get to that thriving point because we think that thriving is like just material. Like we think that thriving has to be like reflected outward in some way. But no, first thriving happens inside and then the reflection happens outside. We don't need any proof to thrive. We don't need any proof that we are worthy. We don't need any proof that we are enough. We already are by definition. Like we are already validated in anything that we decide to do or choose to do automatically because we are His children. We are equipped with the ability to tap into His energy. And we're all on our own individual journey, and I would highly recommend writing through your processes. Any process, it could be anything, a to-do list, things you have to do for your business, um journaling about where you are right now, writing down synchronicities that happen in your life. Like I would recommend writing because it allows for you to tap into the present moment and pay attention to the things that are happening outside of you and your reality and how they reflect what's going on within you. And like when you can see that connection, you really understand that you are the creator in conjunction with God. Like you are co-creating basically. And like this autonomous realization will put you back in the driver's seat of life, and you'll be able to take control of your mind. You'll want to take control of your mind because you'll realize that like, hey, it's a gift. It's not like my enemy, and I don't have to accept depression. I don't have to accept anxiety. I don't have to accept depersonalization. I don't have to accept OCD. I can like reprogram my mind out of all of these things almost all at once too. Like you don't have to even attack things individually. You just have to change your inner environment and everything will align. Like you will not have any of the major problems that you had in the past because you have taken the time to go to the root of your situations, whatever that may be. Like for me personally, going to the root meant I had to do a lot of meditation. I didn't have to do a lot of meditation, but I did a lot of meditation. And when I would meditate, I would get to the root of my problems because I would feel the pain. I would feel what I had been repressing, what was hidden from my own self for so long. Um, like even pain from things that happened in my life when I was younger, and pain from like social situations and things like that. Like it would come up to the surface after my meditation or during my meditation even, and I'd be so focused on God, and I'd feel his love, and I'd feel the burden or the trauma like leaving me. And this obviously happens over time. It doesn't happen all at once, but when I say getting to the root of your problems or situations, I mean getting down to the root of your trauma. And trauma does not happen just when we are children. It does not happen in childhood. It is carried over from past lives. And this is something that I wish people knew more of, because like when you can examine again within meditation, which is what I did, like I examined within meditation how when I was much younger, I always felt um like deserted or like abandoned. And I didn't just feel this, like I would experience periods of time being alone as a child, like with nobody like there. Um or feeling like panicked because like I didn't know where anyone was. Like I went through that as a kid. And so these experiences, I also went through a lot of like um having to regulate like other people's emotions as a kid, and like I was around a lot of like unhealed issues of others as a child, right? So I attracted this in some way. Like there had been something in me, in my soul, that such that when I came into this body, I would immediately experience from a very young age desertion, or feeling left alone, or feeling panicked, or feeling like I had to keep the peace. Like that's a trauma. And this type of trauma, like it's stored usually like in I'd say in the root chakra, right? Like in our energetic body, if you really want to go there, like we have layers, right? And so the root is the first layer. It's the most primal layer. So when you don't feel comfortable as a child, um that's just a reflection of something that was previously there, in which you didn't feel comfortable being comfortable as a child. You see what I'm saying? You didn't feel that it was okay to receive, even when you were a child. And this programming comes from previous lifetimes, it comes from past experiences, because this is not our first rodeo. Like, this is not our first incarnation. And if you don't know that, I'm telling you, it's not our first incarnation. We have lived before. We're going to live after too, just in a different form, in a different shape, in a different body. And you don't have to believe me. You can just look at how all cycles operate in life. You know, you can also look at who you really are as energy, as the soul that is inhabiting the body. Like you're not your arms, your fingers, your hands. You're not your thoughts, your ideas. You're not even your subconscious mind. Um, you are pure energy that can have consciousness. Um, And so that's huge. That's huge, because that allows for you to really understand that you are beyond life and death, and that we do come here with things that we need to heal. So that's a little bit of my personal story, and I was able to, within meditation, uh, tap into um, these traumas and get to the root of them and heal them with God's love. It is a spiritual transformation that must occur. It is a spiritual healing that must occur, and it's only with God's love that it can be healed, because his love is unlike anything here in this world. It's not material. It's transcendental, and it's also unconditional. So it has no time limit or expiration. It's limitless, it's infinite. And that love, guys, when you feel it, um, you heal. You really heal. You become whole, you become happy, you become childlike. Um, like now in my life, I'm the happiest I've ever been, because I have worked on these traumas. I have worked through these traumas. Did it take time? Yes. Did it take effort? Yes. But ultimately, it took resolve, it took the need to heal. And with enough resolve and determination to get from point A to point Z, you can. And God will facilitate this for you even faster and even easier if you don't go through it alone and if you realize that you are not alone. So that's my little story, my personal story, a little anecdote for you guys. I hope this was interesting, at the very least, entertaining for you. I love you. And just know that you have the power to go from point A to point Z. Like anywhere that you are in your life, you can change everything about your situation, about how you feel, about your perspective towards certain things. And yeah, it may require a little bit of coming out of your shell. It may require a little bit of ego dissolution or ego death. It may require you to see things differently. A perspective shift may be required. And usually we kind of know what that is. And ultimately, at the end of the day, it's important to go forward with that with courage and to not stray away from the challenges that are being presented to us, because they are being presented to us for a reason, for our soul's evolution, which is like the point of life. Evolution is the point of life. That's why we're here. So don't ever stray away or be afraid of change or of evolving in a certain way or of opening up or of loving or of giving or of looking weird, or like, you know what I mean? Um, these are all the lessons I had to learn, and I wanted to share it with you today. So I hope you enjoyed. I love you. I'll talk to you soon. Peace.